and welcome back to the Full Cup Wellness with me, Queen BK. Today I want to talk about calories in versus calories out and portion control, as well as the psychology of food and dieting. So, start with calories in versus calories out. Basically, the concept is that what calories you consume in your body, if they're not expended via metabolism or exercise, then they are stored for later use in your body. So what can you do to weight maintenance or weight loss? Basically, you need to focus on what you're putting into your body, and that is more important than how much exercise you're doing. A lot of people will overestimate how many calories their exercise is burning. So a walk around the block, slow walk or a power walk, it won't burn off that donut, barely. So either don't eat that donut or reduce your portion sizes from dinner so you can have that donut. So you have to be aware of how much you're putting in your body, how calorific that food is, but also you want to make sure that you are feeding your body the nutrients that it needs. So let's start with the donut. So if you choose to have the donut instead of a nutritious dinner or a nutritious lunch, so if you're at work and you've chosen the donut out of the vending machine or the cafe instead of a nice sandwich, then you have chosen something that's more empty calories. It's a high sugar content, so it spikes your insulin and glucagon. Insulin and glucagon work together to keep your blood sugar level stable. In people with type 2 diabetes, that is not working and they need medication to keep their blood sugar level stable. Otherwise, if your blood sugar level goes too high or too low, there are very serious health consequences. You can pass out, you can have seizures, you can have brain damage, you can have nerve damage. Diabetes is not something to be pushed aside. Even though it's so common these days, it's a very serious disease. Okay, moving on, portion control, but versus getting the right nutrients. So that donut, it was designed, people paid money to design it so that it has a good mouthfeel, makes it more addictive, it has the right amount of sugar and fat to make it so appealing, and it will trigger that dopamine response in your brain, so you want to have more, which makes it addictive. Now, people can have food addiction, and it's often a sign that something else in their life hasn't been addressed. Just like any addiction, it can be similar to a drug addiction, sugar addiction, or junk food addiction. Because, like I said, these companies paid money to make this food so appealing that you do want to just have more and more of it. So, one, arm yourself with the knowledge. Two, you want to make sure that you, even if you treat yourself with those empty calories, that you're also nourishing your body with a wide range of fiber sources, because you need to feed the good bacteria in your gut. So the donut is classed as ultra processed food. You can check out my website, thefullcupwellness.com, and it's got I got a blog post about ultra processed foods and their effect on your gut bacteria. So basically they increase inflammation in your gut. Ultra processed foods are defined as those, like the donuts, the chocolates, that they are food stuff you can't make in just your home kitchen, because they've got all these extra additives that you could only get commercially. So basically that's the basic definition. But these foods, because they don't have nutritional content, they're just packed with sugar and fat to make them so appealing, they actually encourage bad bacteria to grow in the gut. Less good bacteria will be able to survive. So, in addition to treating yourself with the donut, I know you're getting hungry now, you can have a meal, a sandwich, perhaps on whole grain bread, because you want to have different fiber sources to feed the good bacteria in your gut. Now, what are different fiber sources? For example, you could have some veggies versus some breads and seeds, nuts, grains, and you want to have more plant-based foods. You want the fiber, you want the roughage and everything. You want more plant-based than animal protein. So, you know the food, or some of you might know the food pyramid. You want to have a lot of fruit and veggies at the biggest part of the pyramid at the bottom. And you got your carbs, and then you got your fats and meats. Carbs, then meats, then fats and sugars. So at the tip of at the apex of the pyramid, you're having very little amounts of fats and sugars. So the amount that your body needs for daily functioning, don't cut out sugar and fat completely, you will need it. So the word cholesterol, it's got a bad name, it's got a bad rep, but cholesterol is the thing that is what your cell walls are made up of. So you actually do need to consume some form of cholesterol. Now, media has called it bad cholesterol, good cholesterol, and all bad fats and good fats and all these things. But if you make sure that you're having a varied diet with various sources of fiber, then you will have the healthiest diet. So I did read some research about this research team. They followed the diet of a tribal woman in South America. Over the space of 30 days, they tracked what she ate. She was a hunter-gatherer type of tribeswoman, and she ate, over the space of 30 days, a varied variety of fruits and vegetables that she's foraged, and different meats that she hunted. Plants, meats, fruits. The healthiest diet you could think of, basically, without any of the processed food. And they found that her gut bacteria is tip top. Like, her health is just, you've got all the nutrients. So you've got all the vitamins, you've got vitamins A to zinc. And you want to make sure you get all the trace elements that you need for your body to function, all those bits and pieces for repair and your health and everything. Try to have as many different foods as possible. So even if you find something's really healthy, like you're really into your can of tuna and your egg salad sandwich, but having it all every day and not varying your diet can affect your body and your gut bacteria in the wrong way. And the reason I keep mentioning gut bacteria is because we found that actually the gut bacteria has a huge impact on all the systems of the body. So they found that the metabolites, I'm using jargon again, the chemical compounds, the molecules, that's the word, the molecules that are created from the gut bacteria eating our food, they break it down and turn it into a different molecule, and those molecules can send signals to our brain. And that's why they're saying that the biologists and microbiologists have recently been saying that our gut bacteria can affect our mental health. And that is why, because they create different compounds that can actually impact the brain, how we're feeling, how we're processing things, including people with autism. So I found out that there is some research going on at the moment with people with autism like me. I'm not in the study, but I have autism spectrum disorder, but they found that certain metabolites or chemical compounds in the gut that are created from certain foods or not eating properly can exacerbate the difficult symptoms that people with autism have in their brain. Like sometimes for me, my senses are too overwhelmingly strong, like lights are too bright, sounds are too loud, and it causes a lot of tension, I want to say. It makes it very difficult to cope with just things in general that are happening, because there's a lot of neurons firing, there's a lot of things happening. So if we can find a possible treatment, maybe find the right type of nutrients that the certain bacteria need in the gut, maybe we can find a treatment for some autism symptoms. That would be fantastic. It might make it easier for me to get through my day. Who knows? Research will find out for us. All right, so the next thing I wanted to mention is that portion control can have a huge impact on the amount of calories you're consuming. And a lot of restaurants these days, they'll serve you about 2 or 3 times the amount of food that you need to have to feel full. So what I do is normally if I go to a restaurant, I'll have about half the plate and then I'll take the rest home. I've learned how to identify when I feel full and I choose not to overeat and feel uncomfortable. And if you noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but plate sizes have been getting larger. If you feed yourself on a smaller plate, it does work. I've tried that. This has worked for me. I didn't even mean to do it, but I put like a burger on a small plate. I felt so full. Like you finished your plate, you feel full. But if you put one little burger on a big plate and you eat that burger and you're like, what's next? You know? Or for example, if you want a snack from the cupboard and you get that bag of chips out the cupboard, instead of taking the whole bag of chips to the lounge, what you can do is put a handful into a bowl and take that to the lounge. And when you're done with that, don't have more chips. So forgot to tell you about how to figure out portion control. This is the perfect point. So a handful of chips, literally a handful, is how big your stomach is. Your stomach is about that big. So you don't want a plate of food this big in that little space. You will feel uncomfortable. That's why you feel uncomfortably full sometimes after you have a really big plate of food. Because your stomach's stretched, it's pressing against your organs and everything. You don't want that. So you want to make sure you've had enough to fill you up. So at least like a handful of food, but think about it, it's going to be like all chewed up and mushed up. So like a plate of food will become like that, but make sure it's not like a heaped plate of food. You know what I mean? Like even if you feel that hungry, they say your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Your brain's telling you, I need calories right now. I need to function. I need sugar. I need something to work. And all you're doing is like, yes, I need this and the high sugar content, fat content, because your brain's craving. So you missed breakfast and you need something, so you have that donut. But what you need to be doing is feeding your brain something that it needs, not what it wants. So it wants some quick high calorie something just so it can keep firing. What we want is to give it low GI. Have you heard of the low glycemic index foods? They are the foods that break down slowly into sugars for the brain. So carbohydrates are actually just long pieces of sugars, just all attached together. And when your body breaks all that carbohydrate into little pieces, it becomes sugar. Same thing. So sugar for your brain, and if you give it pure sugar without being in carbohydrate chains, it will just use it up real quick, it's done, and you'll crash. And that's what they call a sugar crash. But if you, not same as a food coma, if you have chains of of sugars in carbohydrate, and it breaks down slowly and it releases slowly through your body, and your brain's like, oh, that's better. And it keeps releasing, oh, I'm still full, you know? So they say low GI foods can keep you feeling full for longer. It's because the sugars aren't just whisked away, then metabolized quickly. So, I want to tell you so many things about sugar, blood sugar and calories, and but this video is going so long already. I'm going to write a blog post about it and summarize all the different points, or go into more detail of all the different points of nutrients and calories and all that. So check out my website, thefullcupwellness.com. If you like this content, please show your support by giving me a like and a subscribe. I really appreciate it. And if you have any ideas of more healthy science tips, put it in the comments. I'll research it and make a video about it. Thanks for watching. Bye.